How's it going? Happy Monday. Castillo Trading coming to you with another VIP live stream. Shout out to the stream sponsor of CoinCatch. They are the perpetual exchange of choice. They're what I like to use for all my trading. It's what you guys should be using as well if you like to do perpetual trading, margin trading, that sort of thing. Great pairings, great liquidity, no KYC, no VPN. If you have any questions or concerns with them, please let me know. I am in contact with the team every single day. We can get things ironed out if you have any issues, if you have any problems. What a lot of people come to these streams for is what's next, right? Maybe you missed the trade. You don't have the exposure that we want. And that's why I like to be doing these sort of live streams for you guys so we can create those setups every single live stream and then go from there. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna create setups based off NPOC prints, and we're just going to continue to do that now. Now, there are a lot of NPOC prints to the downside, but what I will say is if we start to retest any of these prints, I think that it's a good area to be longing and to be getting exposure on. Now, what's the best place to be longing? Well, there's going to be a shit ton of NPOC prints within this, so it's going to be hard to gauge where you should be longing, but I think plan stays the same. Any significant dips on Bitcoin going forward, you need to at least be tacking on a little exposure. For me, it's a little bit different, right? I am long from the lows of lower limit on BTC. I was dollar cost averaging within this 114 area all the way down to this 109, 108 area. Then we got the impulse move up, and I've been kind of scaling out as the move goes and as the move continues. But for those that don't have any exposure, let's just kind of dive right into this, right? The next area of the interest that we wanted to long was down at that 112, 113. I don't think we're going to get that lucky anymore. I really don't. I think that BTC is going to continue to go higher and that we will not get that retest of 113, 112 that everybody really wants. So what's next? Well, I think that honestly, guys, we have seen this before where NPOC prints get printed on the daily every single day and it just impulses higher. And I'll go back to a perfect example of this. And again, if you are using the NPOC prints within the SVP indicator, you will not get these prints because I think it only goes back 3 months. I have been mapping these prints back for fucking like 2-3 years. But this is just an example of what can happen, right? Impulse move higher and we do not get those NPOC print retests, right? NPOC prints is great in ranging markets, right? Once we get impulsing markets, it's very hard to be getting the retest that you want. And that goes along with any type of market environment or any type of strategy. When things are trending, you just don't get those retest levels. But going forward, we don't know what's going to happen. I do know that this is a resistance area that we are breaking above. Very hard for me to be longing here. I think a retest back down into this 120, 118 level would be a good long entry if we get it. Again, I don't know if we get it. This is just me mapping out some game plans for you guys for the ones that are sidelined. Now, what you can do is if you do want exposure and you are worried that you're about to miss the boat and that everything's gonna go higher, is you could tack on a little exposure at all-time highs, right? It's risky, but again, if you're managing that risk properly, it's not going to be as scary, right? So maybe put on 5% of your overall position size here and then looking to be averaging down all the way to this 120, 362 NPOC print. Now, does that mean that you have to be a little bit aggressive on the downside? Yes, you do have to be a little bit of aggressive on those bids, but that's what you want, right? If you are willing to long BTC here at all-time highs, you also have to be willing to long at 120 when we do get that little bit of retest, if we get that little bit of retest. But I don't know how it's going to transpire. I think that there's a lot of momentum. I am still on the mindset of BTC goes higher. The rising tide lifts all boats, guys, and everybody needs to be cheering on BTC to go higher here. That's how your altcoins are going to go higher. That's how your meme coins are going to go higher. That's how the on-chain plays are going to go higher, is if BTC puts in a leg higher. We've already shown that BTC breaking all-time highs isn't really going to transpire the rest of the market to go up. Yes, some things have gone up, but if we want that crazy altcoin bull run that we got back in 2017, 2018, and then in 2020, you have to be cheering BTC on here, guys. And so that's what I'm still looking for. This is Bitcoin top indicator. What I like to watch the most on this is MVRV Z-score, CVDD, and NUPL. This, in my opinion, does call really good tops within BTC. Over the years it has, and we have no top flashes as of right now on Bitcoin. So again, I still think higher. I still think we can get to that 180, that 140, that 200K level. Does that mean that it goes straight up from here and you should long with all of your portfolio? No, you need to still have the idea that we could continue to chop, and it just takes time to get there. So this is my anchor chart. This is why I still have been looking to be buying the dips for really the entirety of this year. I haven't really been shorting heavily. I haven't really shorted at all. Normally shorting is just like a quick hedge trade. It isn't something that I want to capitalize huge on. I just seen the bigger opportunity to be longing these dips to maximize ROI. That's like my biggest takeaway from doing all this with you guys, is you've got to be focused on finding areas of interest to be dollar cost averaging into. Not getting scared if you see a little bit of red because your initial entry was a little early, right? Like I said, just like on BTC, ETH was the same way. I took a position at 4193 and it was a little bit early, but that doesn't deter me from dollar cost averaging in as we get those lower setups, because we have wanted to long these NPOC prints since 8/11. Mid-August, we wanted those prints and we finally got them here at the beginning of October. Just because they didn't happen right away doesn't mean that I still don't want to be longing them a few months down the line. So let's just create NPOC prints going forward, or at least setups going forward for Ethereum here. So I think the short that we wanted was here at that 4726 at 915. I don't know if I want to short Ethereum here. It's actually a pretty decent short since we are coming into upper limit premium price points, and it might be something I do as a hedge. I want to see and dive into the level 2 when that level hits and see exactly what's happening with buys and sells at this level, right? Because we are still continuing to impulse. If we see a shit ton of selling at that level, then maybe it's a decent area to put on a hedge. I don't know if I want to be shorting this level yet. It is a game plan to be shorting, but that doesn't mean that you should be shorting it. I am more of a dip buy trader. I see most of my success as in having patience for discounted dip buys and then looking to long that area. But again, what's next? If you have no exposure, you don't know what to do, this is where we like to do it. We like to create game plans. We can go ahead and create one from here. I would suggest potentially longing again down at this 4297. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get this level. And again, you could potentially be doing the same thing that you're doing with BTC, to where if you are afraid to miss the boat and you don't want to be sidelined and you want some exposure, you can always tack on a starter position here. Even though this is where our next short was, guys, you could potentially be dollar cost averaging within this entire area on Ethereum, meaning take a starter position because you don't want to be left behind or sidelined, but always make sure that that risk is being managed and that you're able to dollar cost average in lower if we do get this. But you know, that's neither here nor there for me. I'm just going forward with game plans with you guys and creating what I think is the next good buy opportunity on Ethereum. Again, we are just getting into that discounted or that premium price range, so not really looking to put on fresh Ethereum longs here. I like to be longing at a discount. We are at a premium, so if we could potentially get a retest of 4297, that would be where I'd be longing Ethereum next, right? And that's really all I have to talk about on this. You know, we will have an NPOC print here, likely on the daily. And so again, that could be another area of interest that you could be looking to at least tack on some longs instead of longing in the premium price point. You know, for me, I don't know if I'll chase CRV here. I do feel like I do kind of miss the bottom of this at that 65-cent area. I mean, I think that you can easily still throw a trend line on this and just see that curve is still actually doing pretty well. And then again, I would just have risk be this break of this trend, right? And you could potentially enter here, maybe dollar cost average if we get lower. But CRV, you know, this is kind of like formulating a big massive pennant here. So you could look at something like this and just look to be trading this upside here. And if it does break down, maybe it doesn't break down until 130, or if it does break up, then you know it doesn't break up until 130. But I think CRV is still a decent buy here. Again, granted, your game plan, if you're going all in with all your capital right here, probably not a smart move. But if you're looking to find an area to dollar cost average into, I think between 80 cents and 68 cents will bode really well when we're retesting this resistance of about 116. So I still do like curve. I haven't longed it yet. Maybe this setup is something that I go back and do long. CRV looks good, but then also if we do break out of this uptrend, you know, you're looking at highs of like $2.50 and $3. Same thing with BTC. It won't matter if your long position is right here at 80 cents or lower at 68 cents when price is up at $3, right? But it depends. Like, are you willing to hold through some downside? Are you willing to hold and average in lower on some of that downside? But I do like CRV here, as it is a nice uptrending pennant that is kind of formulating. This was the one that I tried to long a couple of times too, and I ended up losing. I threw a range on this, and again, I'll take this trade, 10 out of 10 times. It doesn't really matter. It's just kind of my setup, even though I did take some losses on it. You had highs, you had lows. I was longing Fartcoin at these lows here, took a loss, was in profit, round tripped it. Same thing here, re-longed it again, round tripped this because I was in profit, ended up round tripping it, took a loss. And then here, I think out of this 57, 60 cent area is pretty good. The way that we could perceive this and the way that we could look at it for those that are bullish on it is we could really just look at this as a deviation outside a high term time frame current range. We are now currently getting acceptance back in this range, and first target would be median ML of about that $1.02. So Fartcoin doesn't look bad here. I think that a clean range has formulated. We got that deviation outside. If we throw the 1 week on this, we need the weekly to close above this lower limit here. And I think that Fartcoin is good for some more upside. We didn't get the weekly to close below this weekly level, which is about that 55 cent. So again, it just tapped into it, which could initiate to me that it is a deviation on the high term timeframes for Fartcoin with acceptance back above current range. And then we get a move back up to about that 120. So I still actually do like Fartcoin here. So my trade was initiated on Link based off of this current range. Again, resistance level, impulse move higher, turned it into a support level, and then we did retest that support level once resistance. And so yes, someone was asking, I think Link is between a discounted price point. Yes, it is between our median ML and lower limit, so we are still sitting at discounted price points, right? If you get an entry on Link between 23 and 21, it won't matter when we're up here at upper limit of about that $29, right? It's not about catching the bottom perfectly. It's about creating areas of interest that you're willing to be dollar cost averaging into where you're willing to be holding buys from, right? So yes, obviously if price gets back to $26, $27, this will be a good discounted price point for you to be longing. I am still long Link. I don't think I have taken any profit on my trade. I'm still holding the full position size. Got a pretty decent position size on this, so very much forward. Looking for this to at least hit median ML of 24 here soon. Probably I'll take some profits at $24, and then we'll see how things react when we're in our premium price zone. So Link still looks good. Link is still in a discounted buy zone based off of our 4-hour current range trading. And so I still think that we go higher on Link from here. It's very similar to kind of like what we just saw on Fartcoin, to where like that pennant, that slow uptrend is happening. Another theory for this is like Zcash started going, right? We were looking at all of our memes, and I thought Doge started to look a little bit stronger than like Bonk, Fartcoin, Pepe, Pump. Maybe the Dino Zcash goes crazy. Maybe the Dino Doge meme goes crazy, and then memes can kind of follow this. But Doge is one of those ones that you kind of have to be ready for. We also looked at this as well. We have these impulse rectangles that I am watching as well. We have a little move up and then a big move up, and then it kind of consolidates. Then we have a massive impulse move higher. That's what I'm looking for here on Doge. So again, might take some time for this to happen, but I still think that Doge does get a massive impulse to $1 at some point. Now, does that mean that I might be down on the trade for a little bit? Does that mean like, hey, I'm not going to be in profit right away? It's not going to matter. I'll give myself the ability to dollar cost average into Doge a little bit here and give myself breathing room on the trade instead of being, oh, I'm down 10%, I have to cut the trade right away. No, you have to formulate a plan that works best for you. And for me, I still like Doge going higher. I still like being able to find a overall position within this area. If it does drop, I'll be looking to add, and then we can get some moves up. So I like Doge. I like the whole Dino theory. Zcash went crazy. Maybe we can get some memes to go crazy as well. And I think Doge is always one of those blue chip memes that when it goes, it fucking goes. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate you guys. The recap will be coming out shortly in the next couple days. Yeah, that's all I have. Castillo Trading coming to you with another VIP live stream, and I will see you guys over in the Telegram. Peace out.